Things that you can control versus things that you cannot control. Let's check it out in this video today. Hi beautiful souls, this is me Bithika. Welcome to Divine Healing by Bithika D. So we all love controlling. We all love to control somebody, something, some situations. Who doesn't like power? Because controlling gives you the sense of power, right? But there are things which we can actually control, strongly control, and there are things which we cannot control whatever you do. So today we will discuss things that you can control versus things you cannot control, or vice versa, things you cannot control versus things you can actually control. But before I start my video, make sure you subscribe my channel by hitting the subscribe button below. I make videos every Monday to Friday. So let's begin with number 1. You cannot control how people will treat you, but you can certainly control what will be your response to the treatment. Isn't it amazing? So basically, people will treat you as per their own wish. People will treat you as per their own perspective. People will treat you as per your relationship with them. But your response is something that is in your control. If someone is treating you poorly, how you respond to it is in your control. If you're responding it in the most disastrous way, that is going to hamper you only. Because when you throw a disastrous reaction, the vibration comes from you, and that vibration circulates in your body. Now you decide whether you want to give a good response, bad response, or a no response, because a no response is also a response. So you have this control in your hand. You know how to respond to this. If you want to make a situation, that gets tattooed in your mind, a negative situation, then you will obviously respond in the most disastrous way. But if you want that this certain treatment doesn't affect me, so I will respond accordingly. You're a genius. You're powerful then. Number 2, accept the fact that I cannot control my emotions. But you can control how you talk to yourself. Yes. So we cannot control our emotions. Our emotions are sometimes regulated by outside happenings. So if somebody slaps you tightly, you will surely start crying, or you will surely slap back, right? So sometimes outside circumstances comes to us. So emotions will play its own game accordingly, until unless you are somebody who is completely healed, whose energies are completely balanced. That's a different topic. But I'm talking about in general. If your emotions, sometimes our biological stuffs also, so you cannot control your emotions. If you're trying to control your emotions, that's wrong. You cannot actually. But you can actually control the self-talk, what you talk to yourself. For example, you're having a very turmoil inside. That's an emotion, right? But how you talk to yourself. Are you kind to yourself? Are you healing yourself? That matters. Because self-talk is something that is in your control. You can say, oh dear, it's okay. You will be fine. You will be okay. Things are going to be okay. Don't worry. So this is in your control. Number 3, what other chooses to do with their life. This is something you cannot control. You should not control, because it is their life. But you can certainly control with your own boundaries. Let me explain it with an example of a relationship. In a relationship, if somebody chooses to cheat and betray you again and again, to go with somebody else, it is their choice and you cannot control it. On the other hand, you can certainly control your boundaries, as in, if that person is coming back and forth to you, it is your boundary that you can control, that you will not let them in your life, no matter what. That is in your control. It is in your control that you will not, you will make a wall, that there is no communication, because that person has done whatever they want to do with their life, and you have control over your boundaries. People who do not have control over their own boundaries suffers the most because they break their own heart repeatedly because of others. So that is what you can control. You can control your own boundaries. You can have a check on your boundaries, but you cannot certainly control what other people will do with their life. They can do anything. Number 4, you cannot control the belief, thoughts, and perspective of other people. You cannot. That's not possible. But you can certainly control your own belief, your own thought process, your own perspective. A lot of people, most of the people basically, whatever they believe, they try to, give it to other people. They try to convince that whatever I believe, you have to believe the same. And often, some people try to convince them that whatever I believe is the right thing and whatever you believe is the wrong. Or sometimes people become very judgmental when they believe something else or their perspective is something else. See, if you're trying to control that by telling them that they are wrong, you can't control, you will suffer. You will end up into arguments, you will end up into conflicts. So, the thought of controlling others' belief, other perspective, if someone wants to do something in a way, they have a perspective, you cannot control it because it is theirs. Similarly, you have your belief, which you have your control over. So regulate your own belief, own perspective, and have control over it. But you certainly cannot control others' belief and perspective. Before moving on to the next point, let me remind you guys, if you love traveling, do check out my travel channel. The link is given in the description. I do travel vlogging, solo travel adventures. I'm sure you will love my videos. Do check it out. And if you like the content, do subscribe the channel too. Moving on to the 5th point. You cannot control the result of your efforts. But you can certainly control how you behave with yourself after making the effort. Let me brief that. When you're putting an effort to something, you certainly cannot control the result. The result will depend upon a lot of things. So if you're trying to control that, don't. Put your heart, mind and soul into the effort. Don't try to control the result because you cannot. But how you treat yourself after making the effort is important. How you treat your mind and soul. Are you harsh and rude with yourself after making effort? Because after making effort, if the result is negative, are you being kind to yourself or rude to yourself? After making the effort, are you treating yourself well or you are, bashing yourself? What you're doing to yourself, that is in your control. Because if you are treating yourself with kindness, then even if the result is not on your for, you will keep on making effort. But if you are harsh and rude with yourself after the effort, you will always start feeling disappointed. So you have the control on yourself to behave, how you behave with yourself after making an effort to do something. And last but not least, number 6, and this is very important, you cannot control what people think about you, but you can certainly control how you think about yourself, your self-concept, what you know about yourself, that you have a control over. If you have something wrong, something bad in your character, behavior, actions, you can certainly control it by making it right, but you cannot control how people will think about you. Now, in this point, I would like to add one thing, is that when you start checking your own behavior, actions, words, you're checking on it, you're making it as pure as possible, as right as possible, as healed as possible. Trust me, people's perception about you will also change. So don't try to control it because you can't, because each individual has different perspective about your any actions, any words, any feelings. So you can certainly control your own self-concept about yourself. And trust me, when you have a clear self-concept about you, when you know how worthy you are, the world will see your worth. And if the world is not seeing your worth till date, if people are not saying you or making you feel that you're worthy, it's because you are not making yourself feeling worthy right now, which you need to work on. Do let me know in the comment section what you think about this video and subscribe this channel if you haven't yet. Check out my other channel. The link is given in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.